Hey guys, how y'all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic, and welcome back to the channel. And today, if you guys, this is a Star Wars video. So I recently been getting a few, comments on my channel. People saying, "Hey Franchise, can you talk about why you love the sequels so much? Why you keep saying you love them, you love them, you love them? Tell me why." And look, let me just clear the air here. I love all Star Wars, not just the sequels. I love the prequels. Yes, they have problems with acting and writing, but I do love them. I love the originals. I love the sequels, of course. I love all the animated stuff, the live-action stuff, TV shows, Rogue One, Solo, the video games, everything canon I love. And that's not just me, blind loving. Like, oh, if it's Star Wars, it's automatically great. No, I have problems with some things, but I do honestly I love all of Star Wars, so I don't want to just say, oh, I just love the sequels, so I don't get that impression. But I'm just going to kind of go movie by movie. It's not going to be that long of a video, but I kind of want to give you a few reasons as to why I love these films. So, we're going to start off with Episode 7, The Force Awakens, the poster that's right there. I need to get a poster for all 9 of them, but that's going to... I don't know where I can put that. But, so with The Force Awakens, I love the plot. I think a lot of people saying, oh, it's too similar to A New Hope. I don't mind that. I think that it's a really good step to... it serves as a reboot of the franchise while also being a direct continuation of what happens in, from 6 and all that. And of course, Book of Boba Fett, Mandalorian, all that. But the plot is great. I think that Kylo Ren is a fantastic character. In fact, Kylo Ren is my favorite villain of all of the franchises, I think. Maybe tied with Lord Garmadon from Ninjago, but I think that they really are the best. Kylo Ren is fantastic. Adam Driver, the acting in this entire sequel trilogy is through the roof. Everyone is great. Not one character has a bad moment where their acting is bad. The music also, I just want to touch on that for a second before we move on to Kylo Ren, just get that out of the way. The music's great. I think that the Rey's theme, Kylo Ren's theme, the Resistance's theme, every theme that John Williams does is effing fantastic in the sequels. Everything is great in the sequels, all the music. CGI, of course, this is obviously the best out of all the other trilogies because it's the newest, and it's got Disney money thrown in. I also want to say that Disney did not make these films. Lucasfilm made the films. Disney just owns the rights to the films. So I hate when people, oh, the Disney trilogy. No, because no one said the Fox trilogy. You know what I mean? No one says the Disney Marvel movies. It's just people that say the Disney blank with regarding to Star Wars are essentially they're fake fans. They're haters. They just biatch all day. Disney ruined my childhood. I'm not talking about that though. I'm talking about why I love it. So, music great, acting great, CGI great, especially The Rise of Skywalker. That movie has some of the most flawless CGI I've ever seen in my entire life. I think Supreme Leader Snoke in The Last Jedi is easily on par with Thanos or Gollum, or even better than Gollum in a certain sense. Snoke is probably up there with Thanos. I think they're probably tied. The golden cloak, the tunic or whatever, everything looks fantastic. The skin, you see like hair follicles and the pores stretch. Everything is so great in Snoke's design and execution. But going back to Kylo Ren, I think that he's a great character. Yeah, people go, oh, he's a whiny bitch. Well, maybe a little bit, but that's his character. He very much wants to become Darth Vader. He wants to be the ultimate, supreme leader, quite frankly, and doing that, he just kind of has a little bit of anger issues, which understandable, I guess. And then of course we get to The Last Jedi, where we have other things happen. But in this film, he's a great character. He really is. He's not necessarily a Sith, but he's not a Jedi. He's kind of like in between, in a sense, in a bad way. Like he'll still murder people. He's still evil. He's effed up. But he's not like Vader or Maul or Palpatine or even Snoke. He's not a Sith. He's just a bad person who has the Force, wielding the dark side. Not necessarily a Sith. Just like if you have the Force, doesn't make you a Jedi. You're just a Force wielder. You know what I mean? So it very much is a kind of tug rope, pull and push thing that he kind of has going for him, where everything is just kind of wrong and effed up in a lot of ways. And when he kills Han Solo, his dad, he's not like, "Shink, you're dead, biatch, see ya!" He didn't want to do it. He didn't want to kill Han Solo, but he felt the repercussions of doing it. He feels like he's trapped in a box. He has to kill his dad, or else he fears what Snoke will do. And if he joins with his dad, he also then fears what Snoke will do. So he does kind of, if you read the comics, the canon comics, Kylo Ren, or Ben Solo does really see Snoke as kind of like a father figure where Han Solo really failed. So Kylo Ren is just a great three-dimensional character for sure. He's one of the best, if not the best villain I've ever seen. Rey Palpatine, Rey Skywalker, of course she is literally by blood of Palpatine, but by name Skywalker. And Rey is a great character. She is one of the best characters I've ever seen in film. Her writing is fantastic. Her acting is Daisy Ridley. It's hot. great actress, and I think that, this movie sets up these characters in a really unique way, and we do find out in later canon that, when Kylo Ren interrogates her in that, scene in The Force Awakens, that is when their dyad truly begins, and that's when Rey starts to tap into the Force. Of course, Rey is a great swimmer. She's not a great swimmer. We'll talk about it in The Last Jedi. She's a great runner, she's a great athlete, she's a great climber, that kind of stuff. She is a salvager, she is a scavenger by nature, and that's why she's able to, beat up Tito's and, Unkar Plutt's thugs. So I hate when people say she's a Mary Sue. Rey is not a Mary Sue. That's objectively true. If you think she's a Mary Sue, you're an idiot. I'm sorry, but it's true. That rhymed. But going forward, the ability for her to do certain things like fly the Falcon, or know certain things, or be able to do certain things, is because she knows how to do those things. Not because she's a woman and it's woke, but because she's able to do those things through us finding out through her actions, through her words, through practice. So there's a lot of great stuff in there. Rey is a fantastic character. I stand by that statement. She's effing awesome. Poe Dameron's a great character. Again, in this film, he's more of a Han Solo type character, but, we'll get through that. Finn, FN2187, really great. Captain Phasma's awesome. Hux, everyone in The Force Awakens is great. It really sets up a really unique plot with the Starkiller base and everything like that. Of course, we end off with Luke. So, that movie's really great. I really love The Force Awakens. Last Jedi, you guys know, my favorite Star Wars film and my favorite movie of all time. Not only my favorite film, but I think it is the best movie of all time that I've seen. And I've seen a shite ton of movies, let me tell you. So, where do I even freaking begin? I don't want to gush about it too long or else you'll leave the video. But CGI is great, acting is great, Mark Hamill is fantastic, everyone in this film is great. Having Rey and Kylo Ren be able to literally bond, and this is when their dyad is more, affecting each other. We kind of see, Rey's character in the beginning is she wants to belong to someone powerful and popular, because she's like, oh, I know I'm someone. My parents will be back, even though she knows they won't. That's one flaw Rey has. She's got a shit ton of flaws for all the haters out there. Rey is perfect. No, she's not. Just because she doesn't lose a friggin' hand doesn't mean she's perfect, so suck on that, haters. Basically, Rey is flawed in many ways, and one of her flaws is that she's in denial about her parentage and her adulthood and just her lineage in general. She doesn't know she's a Palpatine, but she knows that she's basically a nobody. Her parents dumped her off on Jakku to Unkar Plutt, and they pooped off somewhere random, right? That's all she knows. So when she sees Han in The Force Awakens, she's like, oh, shoot. Han's like my father figure, and then he dies. Oh, okay, well, let me go to Luke. Luke is a prophesized, best guy of all time. You know what I mean? He's going to be a great father figure. Nope. Okay, let's move to Kylo Ren, maybe Ben Solo, and that's the interesting thing. You don't see the villain and the hero start to like each other, and it's not cringy. It's a romance that is, yes, toxic, because Kylo Ren is an abuser and literally a murderer, but it works because of the excellent writing and the excellent acting. And we see Kylo and Rey really start to bond, and Rey's like, look, at first she's like, you're a monster, you're a snake, F you, you suck and you're evil. And then Kylo's like, no, there's more to me than just evil. He is conflicted much as Rey is conflicted, and they start to bond. That's awesome. Luke Skywalker is objectively written perfectly in this film. If you disagree, you're wrong. I'm just going to say that. I don't mind to be an asshole, but it's true. You don't have to like the decision, the road he went down. That's perfect. That is subjective. If you wanted Luke to do something different, that's fine. You go ahead and think that way. But the way he acts, his character arc, it is in character. If you know a little bit about psychology, if you know about filmmaking, if you've actually watched the original trilogy when you weren't 10 or 14, whatever, and you actually understood character arcs and character motivations and writing, it all makes sense. So, with that out of the way, Luke's final stand on Crate is perfect, the literal absolution embodiment of what a Jedi should be and should do. Luke's death is perfect, peace and purpose, the best death I could ever ask for a character like him. Of course, he is back in The Rise of Skywalker, but we'll get to that. So, this is where we start to see Hux trying to kind of, I guess, plant the seeds for his spyness in The Rise of Skywalker, where literally after the best fight scene in film history, in my opinion, and the throne room scene, I know I'm going to get the comment, the disappearing blade! Yeah, I get it. Look, films have mistakes. When I say The Last Jedi is a perfect film, I do acknowledge and I do understand that that was a mistake, right? The Praetorian Guard's Viro braid or whatever disappears for one frame. Who gives a fudge? Go cry into your pillow more. The Dark Knight Rises has a scene where Batman's beating the crap out of a thug and this random-ass dude in the background falls. Blade's attacking zombies and one guy just dissolves. He didn't even hit him. Movies have problems. The prequels, Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan Kenobi wig changes shots, changes, direction every other few shots. Original trilogy, Luke kicks a guy in a skiff and he's completely like a foot and a half away from the guy. Movies have mistakes. I'm not going to go bitch online and say, this is the worst movie ever. That's what people do online. And it's really sad. And if you think that, a small little error like that is going to ruin a film, you're clearly not watching films correctly. Go read a book or something. Listen to music. But at the same end of the day, that fight scene is perfect. The shot composition, the editing, the way that in the beginning when Rey and Ben or Kylo Ren are really attacking the guys is very wide, and when they're both vulnerable, the shots get close, very personal. Everything is so perfect about it. The music, the timing, the slow motion, 12-second shot at the beginning is epic. Snoke's death is fantastic and plants the seed for Kylo Ren's immersion to Supreme Leader. It's a fantastic thing. Poe Dameron learns a lesson in this film. Poe Dameron learns not to be, a badass pilot and just blow everything that moves. Blow everything up that moves. He really needs to, explode everything. He needs to really think about what's going to happen. And that's when Amilyn Holdo comes into the fray. She has big hair. That is not because she's woke. It's because to her race or your part in the canon, she's just like that. Whatever. Grow a pair. Whatever. Who cares? So she comes into the fray, right? And we know Akbar, we know Leia, but we don't know Holdo. So the audience goes, oh, well, maybe Holdo's the spy. Maybe Holdo's someone bad or evil, right? Poe, same thing thinking as us. Oh, well, she's not telling me the plan. I got a freaking mutiny. And that's what Poe's arc is all about. He jumps to conclusions too quick. He just wants to blow everything up that moves. And he finally learns a lesson to retreat, to, actually... Because remember the beginning of the movie where he destroys the Dreadnought and murders like half the friggin' fleet? And he's like, yeah, I did the right thing. What the heck? You know what I mean? And Leia's like, look, those were dead heroes. No leaders in that fight. So then at the end of the Battle of Crate, Poe says, it's a suicide run. We gotta retreat. That's character arc. That's character growth. Finn, FN2187, the exact same thing. In The Force Awakens, Finn starts out as literally, basically a wimp. He's a stormtrooper by force, and he wants to defect. He goes to the Resistance, but he doesn't defect to become good. He defects because of Rey. Well, defects to leave. And then when he sees Rey, he stays with the Resistance because of Rey. That's very important. The first thing he does in The Last Jedi is, boom, Rey! That's what he does. He doesn't give a crap about the fight or anything. He just wants Rey, and once he knows that she's safe, he yeets out of there. And that's when Rose Tico comes into the fray. And DJ, some of my favorite characters in the entire franchise. Rose Tico is the angel on Finn's shoulder, saying, no, you need to stay, you need to fight for what's right. DJ is the devil, saying, don't join, just be neutral, don't get involved with other people's wars, it will only end up bad. Finn learns a valuable lesson to stay with Rose, because what happens when he goes with DJ? Well, DJ sold him out at the end of the day anyway, so that shows Finn and us that picking no sides only helps the bad guys. Choosing to fight with Rose and Rey, I guess. But Rose Tico is the embodiment of good in the canon. She's not a badass, she's not a hero, she's not a Jedi, she's just a mechanic, and she's a good person. And that's never really been done in canon before, to my extent, in the Skywalker saga. So to see that was really effing cool. Of course, there's that whole kiss thing. I think she likes him, he doesn't really like her, they're just friends, whatever. It's a great scene. I think that, the fight between Finn and Captain Phasma is where Finn's arc really comes into play. Again, he just wants to save Rey. And then once going to Canto Bight Cantonica with Rose, he realizes that he should stay. Once he kills Phasma and she says, you were always scum, Finn replies, rebel scum? That's not just a dumb line. And yes, it's a sick, cool line, but it's not just a throwaway thing. It's literally solidifying Finn's arc in this canon as a rebel, as a hero. He's chosen his side. And what does he do in The Rise of Skywalker? Well, we'll talk about that. But Last Jedi is flawless in every way. Of course, a lot of people saying, oh, Kylo Ren, we find out in this film that Rey's a nobody, and then the next one she's a Palpatine. That's a retcon. No, it's not a retcon, because you can't retcon a film two ways out of the trilogy. You need to watch the whole trilogy first. You idiots. So I actually do have a book called Skywalker, A Family at War, where it is canon, it is confirmed that Kylo Ren lied to Rey to take advantage of her emotional, jacked up state in that film. That's what I've been saying since 2017, and all the fake fans and haters online are like, oh my god, it's wrong! That's what they do. But that is literally what, I was right. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I called it. It's pretty freaking crazy. I actually called that. He was literally lying to her. He has no idea who she is. That's why in The Rise of Skywalker, which we're going to move on to next. By the way, I love the Broom Kid, but in The Rise of Skywalker, one of the first scenes is Kylo Ren sees Palpatine, or, you know, the clone version of him, and says, "Who is she?" Well, if he knew who she was, he wouldn't ask that, would he? You know what I mean? It all makes sense. So let's move on to the final film in the Skywalker saga. This film is basically flawless too. I think that my only issue is Poe Dameron saying, "Who's that flyer?" I think that's a really dumb line. It should have said, "Who's that pilot?" or "Is that Zori?" That would have been perfect. Not, "Who's that flyer?" It's like, "Who's that Pokemon?" You know, just stupid. Other than that, the whole movie's flawless. So, we move on to Kylo Ren being the Supreme Leader, going to Mustafar, murdering all the people in the best opening in any of the films. And then we go on to him meeting Palpatine. So, a lot of people think that Palpatine coming back destroys what Anakin did in Return of the Jedi. That is also objectively not true. Anakin Darth Vader did not murder Palpatine to get revenge and to kill Palpatine. He murdered Palpatine to save his son as an act of love. So it doesn't matter if Palpatine came back. It's just like Jesus. Jesus didn't die to say, "F you, devil!" You know, he did it to save us from an act of love. I don't want to compare religion too much, but that's the analogy. Jesus came back. Does that mean a sacrifice meant jack squaddle? No. It still counts. Darth Vader's sacrifice to kill Palpatine, even though he came back, still works because he saved his son and repented. Easy as that. Done. Argument's over. So, he meets Palpatine, which is basically kind of like a husk or kind of like a cloned version. Basically, Rey's father is a cloned version, a failed cloned version with no Force powers. Just whatever. Palpatine was merciful enough to let him live. He married a girl, and then Rey happened. So, Palpatine in this film, technically his body is dead. His dark side energy transferred to a cloned body, and that's why he looks all deformed and his fingernails are all jacked up and he's all destroyed and gross looking. And then that's also why when he kind of husks, so to speak, the dyad power of Rey and Ben Solo, that's when he starts to gain more, health. So really that's the equation there. He's kind of hooked up to all these machines because he is back, but he's basically gathering his strength. And I love that. Palpatine's return is perfect, and it makes complete sense. He is the Thanos of Star Wars. He is the Sauron, the Voldemort of Star Wars. And to completely not have it, to just erase him in the sequels would make no sense. And I'm really glad they added him, because showing us and telling us that somehow Palpatine returned, which is a great line, because think about it, how the fudge would Poe know how he came back? He doesn't. He's just, yeah, somehow Palpatine's back. We don't know. What do you think? Okay, let's just... Would you be happy if Poe said, somehow Palpatine returned by the dark side and going through that and the clone... That'd be annoying and boring as hell. Don't do that. You know what I mean? That's stupid. So, that line is perfect. But seeing Palpatine coming back is awesome. Knowing that he was basically behind the First Order and Snoke the whole time, manipulating Kylo or Ben Solo... Perfect, because that's what he does. He's a manipulator. He did it to Anakin. He did it to Ben Solo. So seeing Rey in this film, kind of with the knowledge so far that she thinks she's a nobody, really trying to kind of, and that's what she says in The Last Jedi too, is that when she sees Luke on Ahch-To, she says, "I'm scared about myself." That's another flaw. Rey is self-doubting herself, and she's not really sure if she can control her dark side impulses. So when she lashes out at Kylo Ren and thinks she kills Chewbacca, that's the whole thing, so she really is scared of herself, and she literally walks out of the fight after she heals Ben Solo and, Kef Bir, which is my favorite lightsaber fight, and literally she throws the lightsaber, and she's like, "Look, Luke, I'm doing what you did. I'm just going away to this island. I'm pooping off here. I'm never coming back." And Luke's first words are, "What are you doing?" Which literally shows the audience that Luke learned his lesson, and that he was wrong by giving into his failure. Telling Rey, "Don't do what I did. Learn from your mistakes. Don't self-isolate yourself. Don't, be afraid of your failures. Rise up to them, own them, and do what's right." You know what I mean? And that's what Rey does in the end. So, Leia's training is great. I think, like I said, the CGI is great. Everything's awesome. The whole diet thing of, Rey or Palpatine, 10 times better than Luke, I am your father. I'm sorry, it's true. I don't like Luke like, "No!" screaming like a little baby. His bunny teeth are showing. It's stupid. I hate it. I think it's not good, because if you watch them in the right order, 1 through 9, it really much is, the audience knows that Anakin is Darth Vader. We know that Darth Vader is Luke's father. So when he says it, Luke freaks out. We don't. We're like, "Okay." And I get it if you were there for the originals first, whatever. But when you're watching 1 to 9, it makes no friggin' sense, and it doesn't really have any impact on me. Sure, it's iconic, but okay, whatever. I mean, it's a cool scene, but whatever. Rey, you are a Palpatine makes 10 times more sense, because we, the audience, have been building up to that chronologically from 1 to 9. Who's Rey? You go, oh, Rey's nobody. Oh, no, Rey's a Palpatine? Whoa! You know what I mean? That was cool. I love that scene. And to see that Rey and Kylo Ren are kind of struggling one more time. Kylo Ren in The Force Awakens did not want to kill Rey. That's why Rey won. Plus, he was shot in the side. And he just killed his dad. In this film, Kylo Ren was about to literally kill Rey on Kef Bir until Leia, intervened. So we do know that, it's Mary Sue. No. I just explained it. You need to think, people. So I think that going for this whole element of the diet is really awesome. Again, when Ben Solo, meets the, I guess, imaginary version of Han Solo, that's a perfect scene. Makes me cry every freaking time. And, seeing Rey and Ben fight each other when they both realize they're on the same side, fighting on Exegol, fighting the Knights of Ren, it's awesome. The final fight is one of my favorite fights in all of cinema, the Battle of Exegol. It's fantastic. Lando's great. The speeder bike chase, they fly now. It's a great line. I don't know why people hate it. It's literally a great line because First Order people have not flown in canon to my knowledge, and if they have, Finn and Poe and C-3PO and BB-8 and Rey didn't frickin' see it, so it makes perfect sense. So I think that line's great. So many things that people hate about the sequels, I think are honestly just from people not understanding them or just jumping on the hate bandwagon. Like, the sequel trilogy is not for idiots. You need to think things through. I'm not saying the prequels are for idiots, but the prequels are more, cut and butter than, layers upon layers of onions, like Shrek would say. You know what I mean? There's a lot more thinking involved with the sequels. And if you're just jumping on bandwagon or Disney bad or, Trump, Orange Man bad, that kind of bandwagon hate doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. Again, you can dislike the sequels. I'm not saying you have to love them, but I do realize, again, a lot of people that mercilessly and maliciously hate them clearly don't understand them. So again, The Force Awakens is great. Last Jedi is flawless in my opinion, and The Rise of Skywalker is the perfect ending to the Skywalker saga. Rey choosing the name Skywalker makes perfect sense. Leia and Luke let her take it. It was not some idiots online say she stole the name. No, that's bullcrap. It's canon that they allowed her to use the name and they trust her with the name and the legacy going forward. She buries the lightsabers on Tatooine. A lot of people had a problem with that. Anakin hates sand. Why would she do that? No. Anakin hated, let me just get this through. Anakin Skywalker did not hate literal grains of sand. He hated the events that took place on that planet. That was just a really poor writing excuse from George Lucas in Episode 2. Alright? Padme in Episode 2 is saying, when they're on Naboo, and she's saying, I love Naboo, I grew up here, I swam here, the islands are so beautiful, it's great. Anakin's contrast is, I hate sand, meaning I hated Tatooine. It's a beautiful thing in Attack of the Clones, but the writing's a little bit weird. But I think that, plus his line delivery is really creepy, but I think that Rey burying the lightsabers on Tatooine is not a, big middle finger to fans or Anakin. It is actually a really great thing, because it shows the audience and the characters that the, peace and freedom is restored to the galaxy, and that putting these lightsabers in the sands of Tatooine is almost like blessing it, rather than cursing it. You know what I mean? So great ending, great everything here. I think that it's a fantastic ending. The sequel trilogy is by far my favorite set of films ever. The Last Jedi is my favorite movie ever. And I think that, honestly, they are pretty much flawless films in my opinion. I will never understand the hate. Again, if you don't like them for specific reasons, that's fine. But if people are going to say, Raise a Mary Sue, Luke was written poorly, blah, 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 I don't want to be like a judge, but it is, like, that's the truth. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to tell you. It's like saying the sky is green. Like, no, it's freaking blue. You can think it's green, but it's objectively blue. You know what I mean? That's the same thing here. But again, I just wanted to, hopefully I didn't spend too long, but I wanted to go through each film and really explain to you. I could talk for hours and hours and hours, alright? This is the condensed version. But I truly love the prequels, even though they have flaws. I admit it, but I do love watching them. I love the originals, even they have flaws, and I love the sequels. They have one or two flaws. Again, a few line delivery, a few lines are a bit weird in the sequels, but other than that, I think they're great films. So, again, I got a lot of requests, and, I truly stand by the sequels as my favorite series of all time. They mean more to me than any other set of film in the world, and I can't wait to rewatch them again and again and again. Before Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga comes out, I'm going to be watching and reviewing each one again once a day. Look forward to that. That's going to be sometime in April or the end of March. But it should be a lot of fun. So, again, I love the sequels, and those are some of my reasons why. I have a whole lot more, but I can get into that for another video. So, hope you guys enjoyed. And, this was a lot of fun. I love the sequels. I love Star Wars, all of it, and I love talking about it. So, can't wait for more sequel content, more prequel content, more original content, more Book of Boba Fett. Star Wars is in a great place at Disney and Lucasfilm, and I can't wait to see what the future holds. And, all Star Wars is good. Thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.